Hey guys, what's up? It's your boy T for 365 Horror, and this is a horror movie discovery channel. I am just here to put as many horror movies on your watch list as possible, and we're going to be looking at a bunch of new releases from the week of November 24th, plus getting into my trailer reactions. So let's get into it right now. Now we're going to get into the video, but before we do, I've got to remind you guys to please like and subscribe if you like this content. Also, the one issue that I wanted to touch on today is that I've said this before in the past and I'll say it again. I am not perfect. So if you've ever noticed that sometimes if I miss a movie or anything, I am trying my best, of course, to bring as many brand new movies as possible. And it doesn't hurt me or anything. It's just last week somebody brought up that Good Boy was actually a movie that came out a month ago, or I think it was like October 25th maybe. And when I went back and looked, yeah, I did. I must have missed it somehow. I mean, I have a whole litany of sites, but sometimes like it's hard to find this stuff. That's why it's like I can come with the underground titles, right? Because I've done like a bunch of research, but I miss things. So yeah, I'm sorry if I ever do. It is not intentional. My intent is always to bring you guys like as many of the newest movies as possible. And with that also, somebody had said that one of the movies I'd mentioned last week, again, I believe it was Good Boy, and that it was actually on Shudder, and I hadn't said that. And yeah, again, like I said, I don't always get everything 100% right. I try to find as many sources as possible. But with that being said, I say, hey man, this is a good community of people who like kind of the more underground titles. So if you notice I missed something that will help the community, please leave it down in the comments. I think that's awesome. I think it's great for everybody to kind of know as much information about these movies as possible. But enough about that. Let's get into some movies I watched this week. And the first movie that I watched this week was Black Phone 2. And honestly, I really thought this movie was good. I liked it. I thought it was better than the original. I just thought it was darker. It had such a good, dark, like murder tone. Like even the graininess on the footage and the sound quality, the brutality of the crimes. Like honestly, the first half of that movie is like like five, like chef kiss delicious. Like it is a great movie. I will say this, when they kind of, for me at least, when they solved the movie and they're kind of, concluding, I did find that the scares and just that overall tone, it did drop off a little bit, but I just love what they did with the sequel. I loved how they tied it back in. I thought that the supernatural element of the grabber was just awesome. He was super menacing. He was way more menacing in this movie than in part one. Like overall, I thought that this movie was better than part one and definitely worth the watch. And then the next movie I watched this week was Who's a Good Boy? And I watched Good Boy, and I thought that that movie was pretty good. It had a like really good, unique premise that I enjoyed. I thought it brought some good like creeps and scares along with it. Everything about it was like a good, high quality movie. I even liked the story. I was wondering where they were gonna kind of go with it with the dog, but it does have like a human kind of backstory going on in the background, so it isn't just like a dog running around, which kept it interesting and kept kind of the plot going. Yeah, I did think that there was a couple of good kind of scare moments in the film, like not as many as I would have liked, but there were a couple of good creepy scare moments. And one thing that the film did that I really liked is it kind of made me think, I don't know if this is the right word, but it kind of made me think like existentially about how like dogs feel and think about things. You know what I mean? Like when you see a dog kind of sniff the corner and then jump back and skittish, you're like, what the heck? Would the dog smell something weird? Like what happened? But in this movie, it's almost like, well, did the dog see something? Like even some of the way that the owner would like hug the dog, but it would seem so kind of aggressive to the dog. And then sometimes I think about like when I hug my dog and the dog tries to get away, like is it seeing it as like a trapping moment, or like I'm trying to be like, come here, and just like, I don't know, hug her tightly. Like it just brought up a lot of thoughts of exactly how dogs like feel about our actions, reactions, and exactly what's going on around us, the types of things they can see. So yeah, I thought that was a good movie with good depth. One of the things, there was a viewer who said that they were going to wait for me to watch the movie so that they could know about if there was any animal harm in this movie. And I don't want to spoil anything, and it's hard to not spoil anything, but I've mentioned this site before, but there is a site out there called doesthedogdie.com, and you can go on there and you can type in any movie, and actually I haven't been on the site in a while. They've updated it. It's got a lot more ads, unfortunately. It was a little bit harder to kind of navigate. It wasn't as clean, but they did add a ton more triggers. So if you are somebody who is triggered by something, you know, like maybe you don't want to see animal harm or you don't want to see, you know, SA, then this site will kind of go through and tell you the severity of triggers in movies. So I don't want to cop out and not tell you. I just don't want to spoil it, especially for when I watch YouTube videos, sometimes I'll hit play, walk away. So I don't want someone to have hit play and walk away and maybe they're like in the middle of painting a wall and all of a sudden I spoil the movie. They can't get to the fast forward. So I will leave it at that. Go check out Does the Dog Die? And you will see if there is animal harm in the movie. But overall, I think that Good Boy was a good kind of creepy watch with a very interesting angle. And then the last movie I watched this week, I did get to watch my two kind of picks from last week, and that was Shelby Oaks. And I think a lot of people are a little bit hard on Shelby Oaks. Now, I get it if you don't think that it's like a super good film. I mean, I thought it was actually okay. It looked a lot better than I thought. It had like zero kind of B-movie feel to this film. It didn't feel like an indie film at all. Great cinematography. I thought the story was okay. There were some elements of it I really enjoyed. Like, again, I liked how they kind of introduced it. You know, the dude shows up, kills himself with the tape in his hand. It had some good creepy moments, but it was just a little bit middle of the road, especially part of the way through it. Like, I feel like it could have kind of went further, but I will say that the story does take just a little bit of a deviation that I didn't expect. And so I did like that it felt a little fresh, just how it concludes, like maybe not the end, but even kind of where it goes from, again, the resolution. Like, I just didn't expect it. I don't know, maybe some people totally saw it coming from a mile away, but I didn't. But at the end of the day, I would just say that the movie was, you know, middle of the road to decent. I would lean more towards decent. Like, I thought it was okay. Now, I get it if you have this like built up thing in your head because you've heard about it for so long and you're into the Kickstarter and this and that. Maybe it was a little bit disappointing, but for me, I actually thought that it was a passable, watchable movie. I don't know if I'd pay any kind of premium price for it, but a couple of bucks, I do think it's worth the watch. And with that, let's get to some new stuff. It's a bit of a short week, but the first movie we're going to take a look at this week is a fantasy horror mystery named Rufus. And this movie is available on Apple TV and Prime Video.
Oh, man, I don't even want to know nothing about that.
A man in the hood, Rufus, tells 5 disturbing dark stories about body horror to his family and friends against his wife's will. It is directed by Mars Roberge. Okay, so after watching the trailer for Rufus, this one looks like a little bit of a middle-of-the-road kind of anthology horror. And the first thing that really hit me when I kind of saw this trailer was the casting, because, I mean, casting Freeway Ricky, which is, like, I don't know if you've ever heard the story of Freeway Ricky, but he is like a very big, notorious drug dealer who did a bunch of time, and now they've kind of got him as the narrator in this movie. I mean, it's a wild choice, but it is kind of interesting and has my interest piqued just a bit. But outside of that, nothing really grabbed me. You know, as I was watching the stories kind of transpire on the trailer, it just looked very kind of B-movie, and none of them looked really that compelling. It just looked kind of, like I said, B-movie, and just not in the best way. Now, Rufus might have like a good tale kind of tucked in there, because there did look to be a little bit of TNA, and I do like anthologies because you do get a chance of like a good story, but honestly, just the way that it looked, I'm honestly just not holding my breath. So I think Rufus is going to get a lower spot on my watch list.
If I tell you kids a story, you gotta promise that you won't tell your parents.
I'm not a seal.
A body came in last night?
Look at all the blood.
I'm the luckiest lady in the whole world.
They will not cease until freedom has been destroyed.
I can't control myself, and I'm gonna be keeping doing deadly things.
This girl got the role of a lifetime.
Next movie we're going to take a look at is an action crime horror named Bloodstar. And this movie is available on Google Play, Apple TV, and Prime Video.
Why are you doing this?
A petty thief driving through the New Mexico desert finds herself the target of a psychopathic small-town sheriff who views his badge as a license to prey on vulnerable young women. She must use all of her street smarts to survive. It is directed by Lawrence Giacomelli. Okay, so after watching the trailer for Bloodstar, this one looks like a middle-of-the-road to decent crime horror. Now, I do like the premise for this one because a rogue cop preying on women, it's just got that kind of slimy, inappropriate edge. And maybe if they kind of lean into that and really, make his character disturbing, there could be some shock value in that. But when it comes to like actual creeps and scares, I wouldn't really expect much out of this one, especially since horror is the third genre, so I really don't get that energy. And one of my big problems with the movie is that the whole thing overall just had a meh feel. Like, even though I didn't mind the premise, it really is nothing new. And just that middle of the road kind of desert setting, it's also meh for me. It's just such a bright area, like we might get some tension out of it, but I just don't feel anything like really compelling at all here. Like, again, I know I'm a broken record here, but it might really work if the cop like really pushes that brutality, but I guess we'll just have to see. Now, unfortunately, Bloodstar looks about as generic as the name sounds, and I just wish we had something that felt a little more bold and fresh, but we don't. So unfortunately, I think this one's going to have to get a regular to lower spot on my watch list.
Oh, hey, officer. Everything all right?
Turn off your engine.
Ma'am, you okay?
I think this cop is extorting me.
Seems you met the Honorable Sheriff Billstein.
So he is a real cop.
Last girl I seen needing the ATM said she needed it to pay the sheriff.
You know what they say, want to see a man's true colors, give him a badge and a little bit of power.
Next movie we're going to take a look at is a comedy horror musical named Chainsaws Were Singing. And this movie is available on Google Play, Apple TV, and Prime Video. Adventures await when new lovers are separated by a chainsaw killer. It is directed by Sander Moran. Okay, so after watching the trailer for Chainsaws Were Singing, this one definitely looks like a very kind of unique comedy slasher. Now, right away on the bright side, this movie looks really bloody, and it looks like we're just getting some like raw, brutal, and unapologetic like chainsaw kills. And if they really lean into that, I mean, that element of the movie, it could be fun. And one of the craziest parts of the film is that this is a musical. Like, amongst the brutality and amongst the mayhem, this is like, break into song and a number musical. And at least from what I've seen in the trailer, the songs are funny. Like, they're like, kill, kill, kill. Like, it's just very kind of macabre, but in a funny way. So, I mean, if they do lean into that and they do lean into the gore, that could be entertaining a little bit. Now, my only fear for this film is that this thing looks zany. And I'm not talking about the normal zany that I normally don't like. This looks aggressively zany. And the comedy in the trailer, honestly, is just super ridiculous. So I'm not really sure if that's going to blow past my limit. And then when you add on top of that this movie has subtitles, I just really think that some people are going to want to tread lightly. Now, honestly, this isn't the type of movie that I'd watch, but I might just give Chainsaws Were Singing a try because the extreme gore mixed with these kind of funny musical numbers is just kind of insane. But I gotta be honest, if it really goes way too into the zany territory, I could see myself tapping out before the end. Now, if it wasn't for this unique musical angle mixed with this almost like extreme gore, I think this movie would be a skip. But I might have to actually just give it a try because, again, it's like some of the stuff you see in the trailer, it's like, I'm talking about like chainsaws to faces. If we get that, I mean, with funny numbers, it could be interesting. So I might have to actually give this one just like a regular spot on my watch list.
Mootorsaega mees tapab, ta on väga ohtlik ja ta võttis mul tüdruku kinni.
Tead sa, mis sind ees ootab? Sinust võib asja saada.
Tappa, tappa, tappa tahan ma. Tappa, tappa, ja.
Viletsana näib, kui kogu maailm su pinda käib, siis ütle nõuannet, kuna ta on tõesti vajad.
mis asja sa ajad?
Last movie we're going to take a look at in this short week is a straight horror named Murk. And this movie is available on Prime Video. Jacob's world is turned upside down when his wife Maya is admitted to a psychiatric hospital with severe depression. Now he is alone with their 6-year-old son Johannes, pressing deadlines at work and all the worries that come with the hospitalization of his wife. Jacob realizes that he must put his own beliefs and sanity on the line if he wants to save his family. It is directed by Martin Vreed Nielsen. Okay, so after watching the trailer for Murk, this one looks like a fairly dark possession horror. Now, right out the gate, I was excited with this one because I feel like it just threw like some pretty good heavy dread at you. And that mixed with some of the body horror stuff we see and some of the stuff we see surrounded by the entity, I actually think we might be in for some legit creeps and scares. I also felt that in this one there was a solid mystery brewing here because you have the wife and her sudden illness and it's kind of some of the things that she describes that happened to her body. You have the son who is kind of becoming keeping to himself and becoming a recluse and acting really weird. So there's obviously a lot of things kind of going on under the surface. And this film doesn't exactly call itself a drama horror, but I am getting that vibe because it just has like some kind of deeper character interactions we see, like him finding her diary and reading it, so we might get some really messy kind of family dynamics. And that can be good when it's like mixed in with the supernatural stuff. But honestly, I wanted to give you guys a quick heads up because this one is a Danish film, so it does have subtitles. But I really feel like sometimes these foreign films is where the true disturbing content kind of hides. So I'm always down for it. Now, even though Murk looks a little bit slow because it does have that drama horror element, I do think that we're in for something dark and moody and something that actually has a couple of good creeps and scares. So I think this one's going to get a regular spot on my watch list.
Klart værst om natten. Det som om at tankerne ligesom bare banker mere på, når der stille i huset.
Der en specifik situation, som gør, at du særlig bekymret for Johannes?
Hvad den udsat for egentlig?
Han jo normalt en glad og social dreng, men han ikke rigtig vil lege sammen med andre børn.
Jeg har fået en ny ven.
Hvad hedder han?
Well, guys, that's going to do it for another episode of brand new releases for you guys to watch and stream. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did find a couple of gems for your watch list, please leave me a like and subscribe. Now, if I had to make a couple of picks this week, it was a little bit of slim pickings, but I did think that the first movie that I'm going to pick is Murk, because it just looks dark. Again, it looks like it's got a good atmosphere. I like the mystery it was building. I love possession horrors. Again, a creepy kid is awesome. Something going on with the mom. He's reading the diary, which means we could like get some lauded kind of revelations there, or just anything kind of like weird and lewd, or I don't know, we could just get some good stuff. Again, a good foreign film could have some disturbing content baked in there, so I think that's going to be my first pick of the week. And for my second pick of the week, again, it's slim pickings. I would never pick a movie like this, but I think Chainsaws Were Singing. I just want to see what this movie's about. Like, I want to see if the songs are zany but keep me into it, or if it just gets way too weird and zany. I don't know, I'm just kind of interested in this one. I think it looks really bloody. Like there's an instance where it's like Buddy has his face beside the chainsaw and kind of looks and smiles, and then it looks like Buddy just kind of moves the chainsaw right into his mouth. Like, I don't know, man. It just looks like it's got some really raw, kind of brutal gore in it, and it looks like it's going to make fun of it, like songs about entrails and death. I don't know. I'm not like into that. I just think it's an interesting, unique take, and I want to push myself and see if it's a movie that I actually find is good and weird and bloody, or if it's something that I tap out of and think is too zany and turn off right away. So that's going to be my second pick of the week. Well, guys, that's it for me. I'm out of here for real this time, as I have got a ton of movies to watch. If you made it this far into the video, thank you. I want to say happy Thanksgiving to all of my US friends. I definitely capitalized on your full day of football yesterday. I hope you guys have been taking care of yourselves and had a good holiday with your families. And everybody who lives in Canada, I hope you had a good Thursday. So yeah, again, I hope you guys are taking care of yourselves, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Lord, I married a sicko.